Do you ever feel like your partner is on a different planet while you're trying to talk to them? When communication seems one way, you might feel unheard, unappreciated, and completely frustrated. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to stay this way. In this video, we're going to tell you exactly what you should do so you will be heard.
Let's get into the specific ways on how to communicate with your partner in an effective way. Number 1, choose the right time and place. Find a moment when both of you are calm and free from distractions. What I mean by that is don't bring it up in the middle of the fight. When you're in a heated conversation, I know it feels like a perfect time to bring up all the other things that are bothering you. This only pushes them away, discourages them to actually be engaged in the discussion, and the whole conversation just gets twisted. So note when to bring it up and create a safe and non-judgmental place for both of you. This is going to change the whole game. You each have the same goal of not getting hurt, right? That's not hard to understand, and you should be able to empathize with each other on that at least. So keep that mutual goal in mind and discuss what kind of rules or settings can make it a safe place for everybody. Try out different ideas and see what works the best for you. For example, you could take it to a cafe, or you could take it to a certain room in the house if that's the most comfortable environment for you. You could also make sure both of your phones are put away, turned off, or say, let's not say a word, never. Something like that. Just come up with a bunch of different things and see.
Number 2, use active listening. You can imagine that people are more likely to listen to you when they actually feel heard in the conversation. Ask your partner open-ended questions to give them the opportunity to express their thoughts and feelings. Simply ask, can you tell me what was going through your mind? Or, I would love to understand how that makes you feel if you don't mind sharing with me. Again, while listening, set your phone down, turn off the TV, and give your full attention with eyes, ears, and your body language. Try not to be getting a comment or a counterattack ready in your head. You can have your turn to speak later, so for now, just focus on listening to them. You could even show that you're paying attention by repeating back what they're saying, like, so you're telling me, or what I'm hearing is, and again, to make sure that they feel completely heard, avoid interrupting.
Number 3, use I statements. Now, when it is your turn to speak, express your concerns and feelings using the I statements. The goal here is to avoid sounding accusatory. When the you statements are used, you're really trying to shame them into submission. This kind of word choice usually backfires and leads the conversation to get heated, right? So let me give you an example. Instead of saying, you never change, try saying, I feel frustrated when this happens. If you feel like you can even be more direct, like, I don't mean to blame you, I'm just asking for your support and help so I feel more connected with you. Or as another example, instead of saying, you never consider my feelings, you just do whatever you want whenever you want, we could say, I feel really hurt when I don't feel considered. It would really help me to feel considered if you could ask me how I'm doing a little bit more often and kind of hear me out when I give you the answer. Like that, you can kind of give like specific suggestions on how they can help you so you can feel a certain way. So rather than the blaming language in I statements and talk about what they did, like those examples, we need to describe how we feel and what we want. Being this vulnerable is really hard when you're angry, and even harder when you feel like you have to convince them to hear you out. The reason why you use the blaming language or tend to raise your voice is because you're somehow trying to get their attention, right? Except that we need to remember that it most likely will make them react to the way you're speaking to them, not what you're actually talking about. So if you want your partner to come in and understand your perspective, you have to make room for them by opening up, letting your guard down, and welcoming them in.
Number 4, believe that you have the right to express your own feelings. Now we'll acknowledge, using I statements is a lot easier said than done. Even in heated moments, your true desire is really to get your feelings validated without having to fight for it. But why do we do the opposite? This is because you feel insecure about expressing your feelings, needs, and even asking someone to love you the way that you want to be loved. In one point in your life, you were made to feel ashamed for having your own needs, or you were made to feel like they weren't important. It's very hard to express things calmly and clearly when you don't feel like you have the right to do so. And often that is why you turn to alternative ways such as blaming, anger, and you statements. So, if you want to communicate in a healthier way, the first thing that you need to do is know that your needs are valid.
Number 5, say what needs to be said and stop. When you go on and on and on and on, they get annoyed after a while and they stop listening. They might agree to what you're saying just so the conversation will be over. In that moment, it would look like the problem has been solved, but under the surface, the resentment is being built. And this could be very damaging to your relationship in the long run. If you tend to do this, there's something very important for you to realize. When bringing up an issue and you just can't stop talking, your focus is on if you feel heard or not, rather than the actual topic of the conversation that you're trying to talk about. What you can do to help this is to reflect and acknowledge your feelings before you speak. Have a better understanding of where you're at so you can communicate about it clearly and simply. Meaning, when you communicate with your partner, try and keep things to a minimum and wait. Give them time to digest what you just told them so they will have a chance to respond instead of react. If you feel like you're still not heard, simply state that by saying, I don't feel heard. Don't fall into the cycle of repeating the same thing over and over again with accusation or anger, because again, that only drives them away.
Number 6, know how to agree to disagree with respect. You might have similar tastes in food, music, family relationships, humor, or even some core values. But you and your partner are two individuals. You might not always agree, and that's perfectly okay. When there's a disagreement, sometimes it can feel uncomfortable. It's possible to come up with a plan where you both are satisfied, but the important thing is to discuss it together and work as a team to get to the point. Even if you cannot reach a full agreement, you can still respect your partner's perspectives and opinions. Both of your thoughts and feelings are equally valid, so try to make sure everyone feels heard in the process. Remember, validating their feelings isn't going to invalidate your feelings. The point of this is to open up two-way conversation. Look at a disagreement as an opportunity to bond with your partner. Instead of making it into a fight, you can turn it into a conversation that helps you understand each other deeper and create connection by practicing validating.
To learn more on how to have happier and healthier relationship, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you next time.